Quilty Crew. We are live again for day 2 at H+H. I hope you all enjoyed yesterday's interview with Kate Colleran. Today I have another special guest. These might be some familiar faces to you guys. We've got Jody and Amanda. They're both here representing the Quilt Designers Collective. We're going to get to sit and kind of get their take on H+H and how they're doing and just their feelings on the show, and we might get a nice little teaser for what's up next for the Quilt Designers Collective. So we're going to dig right into it. Welcome to the stream again. It's so nice to have you guys back.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah. So for people who are just coming in and maybe don't know you guys, can you give us a little rundown of who you are and your main business? Jody, if you want to go ahead and...
Okay, yeah. My name's Jody Grunendijk, and I am part of the Quilt Designers Collective. I'm a quilt pattern designer, and I'm trying to make connections here at H+H to get some distributors that will sell my quilt patterns. So that's my main goal right now.
And what's your style? If you could just one word kind of thing,
modern, colorful.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, easy. And then Amanda, you want to give our spiel? I love it.
Our spiel.
Our spiel.
My name is Amanda Bauer. I run ALeeB Creative and Quilted List. Right now, these two brands are sort of devoted. Quilted List is focused on beginner to intermediate.
Right.
Anybody who wants to venture through the world of quilting and has been told, why are you doing that? Because that's old. I'm here for you. ALeeB Creative is the other part of my split personality, where I get to focus on patterns for the more adventurous quilters. So new, intermediate, advanced, it doesn't matter. I'm going to give you design patterns for you that are complicated looking, but that you can absolutely achieve. I am also here trying to connect with the distributors and hook up with the fabric companies that I'm working with at the moment. So
fantastic. It's so great to have you guys. And so, you guys know, if you guys have been following the channel for a while, that, these guys are my friends, they're my homies. We're doing a collective kind of thing called the Quilt Designers Collective. Obviously, it's in the name. Jody, do you want to kind of give everybody an idea of what the QDC is and what we do?
Sure. We kind of started, we all took a course together and kind of connected. I came in after the fact because I was in a different group that was didn't really stay going. And
right.
Then one person that was part of the Quilt Designers Collective invited me in, and I just kind of took over, kind of fell in here, and I love it. Great group of people. We talk daily using Discord. We give each other hints and tricks and tips on long arming, on patterns, and encourage it. I think the best part is we encourage each other. We know we can do it, and we encourage each other to take that leap. So,
and fun fact, group. Jody and I were in the same original group that sort of didn't do much, well. And so when I also got connected with this new group, it was fabulous.
Yeah, and that's funny because you and we connected over Instagram, and I had posted a picture from the gym, and she messaged me. She's like, "Are you local? You go to this gym too?" And I'm like, "Yes, I need a gym buddy." And she's so much better about going to the gym than I am. We're not gonna talk about it. Oshemi says woot long arms. So yeah. Mr. Oshemi wanted. He's dreaming of his long arm one day. Yeah.
They're good fun.
Yeah, there's a few here too.
Yeah, I'm not taking any pictures of the Anovas. If you missed out by not coming, so that's not my fault. Maybe you'll come next year.
Well.
If we find a babysitter. Oh.
Just one day, yours will be adults too.
One day.
One day.
And you'll be sending them texts that say, "I miss you guys." And if you're lucky, they'll send you text back, "I miss you too. I love you."
Right? I called last night, and we do Discord calls and all that, and so Shemi's sitting there, and Bug is watching her show, and I'm like, "I miss you, Bug," and she just kind of, "Huh? Oh, I miss you too." I'm like, God damn the TV. Oshemi says, I'd rather be there than dealing with the work crap. And yeah, it's a shit show at work. So I don't blame you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've been together. It feels like we've been together for so much longer And we really haven't. Like,
No.
I think Susan said it's only been a year and a half. Like, that can't be
Something
right.
like that.
Yeah.
Is it
Well,
really?
you guys you started before, so you
So
guys
you
have
started
probably
in
been
the
2
course.
years.
We didn't start the Discord during the
No,
course. It
but
was
you-
after the course was
Yeah.
over, and then it was like, well, I don't want to stop meeting with these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
What year was that? Was it 21? No,
No, 22.
20,
I
fall
think
of
we were the
22.
22 group.
I think so.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. It just feels like so much longer. Like we've known each
Yeah.
other so much
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah.
It does.
Yep. And
There's been a
coming
lot of
here
progress, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
A year.
Yeah.
Like looking
A lot
back
has
a year
happened.
at where we were, and like we were like these nervous little chicks. Like, oh, I don't know if they're gonna talk to us. And
Yeah. Yeah. No, we've all come a long
It's
ways.
awesome to watch.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like we're the bitches on the block, like just walking in with confidence.
Yeah.
Like, I got this. I got this. Yeah. It's been nice.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it.
Absolutely. And it's awesome to be able to celebrate everybody's wins.
Yeah.
I think that's the best part of the
Yeah.
group
Yeah.
is like so many times, and there's groups in the industry where, you know, it's, oh, yay, good for you, and Flaunted Fridays and all that kind of stuff. But like, you never really feel like it's genuine or not.
Yes.
Like, you know that some of those people are actually genuine happy for you,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But like for our group, it's like we generally are so proud of each other
Yeah.
because like I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it. Like I didn't know I could do it.
Yeah.
But they sure as hell told me 100
That you could
times.
do
It
it.
only has to be like 1,000 times in my head before I actually get
can't
it.
wait until the end of the year.
Okay, listen, we're not. Okay, that's redacted. We're not allowed to talk about that.
I'm just given a time frame.
But I know. Well,
And
the
I
chickens,
can't wait.
The chickens can't be hatched, counted, whatever that old timey saying.
Yeah, it doesn't mean we can't be excited
Yeah.
to see the eggs.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, and I've
So-
had a couple of people come up to me and say, I saw this, and I can't believe it's so you. And then I'm like, how do you know about that? I didn't show that to you. That's okay.
We'll name drop later because
We'll name drop,
you were
yeah.
you were the topic of conversation yesterday when I went over to a booth.
Okay, that's news to me.
They were all amongst the same pool of people who are allowed to see that. I'll put it that way.
Well, I hope it's good news.
It was.
Okay.
Of course it was. And we were all
I
gushing.
don't know.
So I'm just saying that y'all need to look forward to the end of the year.
I mean, it really is going to be bomb.com. Like,
Yeah.
It's cringy that I say that, but it's true.
It doesn't-
It's really
it's awesome.
true. Like, I'm really excited. But, so back off of me, you know, I don't like talking
No.
about me, even though I do plenty of it. I apologize. But, so QDC, we did the Sprout Quilt Challenge back at the beginning of the year, and that was fantastic. We had so many great sponsors, you know, shout out to Alysso and Hobbs and all these great companies that, like, sponsored the gifts and everything. But there's a new something. Can we talk about that? Or?
Yeah. I won't give any specifics about it, but I've been posting teasers, I guess, in the last couple of weeks about what's coming up. It's starting in July 7th to August 17th. It's going to be a 6-week challenge, and it's not your typical block-based or quilt-based challenge. It's a different type. So we're hoping that people will enjoy what we want to bring up. Each designer is going to have something that they're going to focus on and give us some tips and tricks and ideas. And right now we're also doing an Instagram takeover for all of the designers. So each person has 1 week and they get 5 posts that they can put up.
Some of us are a little lazier than others, so
Yeah, I will be on you. I will be on you to
social media
get your
presence
information.
sucks.
So
I already took my turn.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it again. You know.
So it's gonna be
Yeah.
a blast. It's a different idea. It's maybe a little less stressful than a quilt block based challenge.
Yeah.
But I think we'll all enjoy it. And the one thing that we're gonna focus on as part of this challenge is we have to all do videos. So that's what's
Yeah.
challenging us as QDC.
Because
is
we
that
all are trying to
we're
learn new
trying to
school
learn something
skills
new.
and putting us out there.
Yeah.
I was talking to a shop this morning, and I made a sale this morning. I was so excited. I was so, like, that's new for me. She even asked me if I had order sheets, and I'm like,
you're
no,
like,
I
oh,
don't.
crap,
cool.
does that mean I have
Right?
to start bringing those
Yeah.
Well,
places?
and then, Shami, you're gonna love this. She confirmed that you are right. I know how much you love that. She told me I'm not charging enough.
Oh, really?
She told me,
Amen.
yeah, and as a shop, I was surprised that she said that to me. She's like, after I do my order, you can raise the prices. And I'm like, I love that. But, with the distributors, they don't want you to change their pricing structure
No,
and
but
all
for
that.
every pattern this point forward,
That's
Yeah.
That's what Oshemi and I had been talking about, and I was like, I don't
you
know
are
if
right,
anyone's gonna buy
Oshemi.
it.
You are right.
Yeah, yeah. But your patterns come with a lot of information and
Yeah.
a lot of quality.
I try, but it's like, that's always a challenge, is the price point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When I'm competing with other pattern writers who are doing $10, $12 patterns,
Yeah,
and
but
it's
we're
not
not-
necessarily people who are not applique. There are other people who are bigger that have in-house printing and all
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah,
I'm
but
trying
you know
to-
what? We're not competing with them. And I'll
No.
tell you why. Because I don't know a single solitary freaking quilter who only buys patterns from one person.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
So
you're
we
not
are not
wrong.
competing with them. We are
There's
all
enough for
complementing
everybody.
each other. And I think the minute we start to view each other as pure competition,
Right.
we're.
Well, I don't think of anyone in our group as competition.
I don't think of anybody outside that way either. I
No.
choose not to
I
because
feel
again,
like it's more like market research and comparison, because for somebody
Yeah.
like me where I don't know where I fit in yet, at least I can look at other people who have similar styles or similar structures. And the shop owner reminded me, look at Legit Kit.
yeah.
Look at how much they charge
Yeah.
just for their
Exactly.
patterns.
And you know what? We buy them.
Yeah.
People do buy them.
We buy them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that goes into them. It's
Uh-huh.
like 200 plus pages of paper that
Yeah.
goes into that.
Yeah. But they also have in-house printing, and they have.
Do they?
I probably.
I don't know. I just had a conversation with Chuck, and I'm not so sure.
No?
This morning, I shouldn't say that. I
I told
honed
you.
in
Don't-
on a
don't get-
conversation with Chuck because they were discussing how to get them back into Europe. So hopefully, we're gonna sick Adele on trying to find them a print on demand.
Well, I don't know
okay,
if she wants
okay.
to work with them at this point because
She
of
might want.
Yeah.
She might change her mind. I'll just put it that way because they were very disappointed that they had to make the business decision that
Right.
they did. So, I took it as pretty dang encouraging. So,
well, and I
We'll
think
see.
they noticed a big dip maybe in revenue coming in because they
I
cut
don't
out.
think that was what they were focused on.
No.
I won't give you the rest of the conversation.
Yeah,
I just,
we can't talk about
I
that
just-
here,
I got the sense that wasn't. They knew it was going to be a problem. They knew they were going to miss
but
out on
I
some
talked
stuff.
to
But
them
I think
about that at
they were
market,
focused
and
on,
it was a very heavy decision,
Yeah.
and it was all
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
try and beat the plagiarism and
Yeah.
people trying to,
Yeah, so they're thinking outside the box at the moment,
Yeah.
which is good for them. But honestly, right now, prices are out, obviously through the roof everywhere. But
Well, and-
raise your prices, Sondrasa. That's
Yeah.
just the moral. Sorry, but it's just
Oshemi
it
says I
has to
told
be.
you, and I hate that.
It just has to be.
I mean, you're not wrong. And I am kind of the same thing as Legit Kits, but I sent packets to both my friend Tracy and to Adele for them to get quotes from me for printing. I don't have an established market over there yet,
Yeah.
but I really want to.
Yeah.
That's where I want to go, is international.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to you guys after this. But there's some exciting other things that I'm working on for Craft Industry Alliance and for H+H Cologne.
Oh.
So that should be exciting. But yeah.
Raise your prices.
I'll say, God damn, shut up.
That's
You
the
better
final
not clip that. I
decision.
swear to God, if you clip that you were right, I'm
Clip
gonna
it,
be
clip
pissed.
it, clip it.
Fuck's sake.
No, that's a quilt pattern, Sondrasa.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah. Yeah, that is.
We've discussed
That
it.
would
It's
be
my
a good
quilt.
one.
Yes.
No, FFS is.
Oh, FFS?
is
Oh,
Yep, I
FFS.
just call it the for fuck's sake quilt.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I need to finish tech editing that for fuck's sake quilt.
Yeah. That would be a big seller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Its name is falling from the stars. It's just natural.
Yeah,
Because I
it
abbreviate
really
them, and
is.
for fuck's sake works way better.
Yeah.
So you guys have been on the floor this is day 2 for you guys. Who has been your favorite vendor / booth that you've been to so far?
I must say I am very impressed overall with the selection and the colors. The colors everywhere. I'm not a crocheter. I'm not a knitter, but the yarn is fantastic. I would say the yarn booths are even prettier than the fabric booths.
Oh,
in
for
many
sure.
ways. Very
For
different,
sure.
but that's been very, very cool. I had really good conversations with, what was the one group? Can't remember now. It starts with an F. And they have beautiful fabric too. They have the woven linen and cotton and hemp fabrics. It's just beautiful. So that was a really nice one.
Yeah, I agree with the yarn boots. I have to remind myself that I do not actually need a hobby.
No, I know.
Business is enough, and I also have to remind myself that my great grandmother would be rolling in her grave if she saw at this point how badly I crochet. So I have to remind myself of that. But they are very, very pretty to walk by. I have been, here, there, and everywhere doing meetings and stuff. Stuff. I don't think I've actually walked the full floor yet, so we'll see what today brings.
Yeah. There's a whole 2 more days to go.
I haven't walked the floor at all, really. Like I've tipped my nose in because I had a Lisso demo yesterday, and then I tipped in on the other side.
And that demo was hot. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Because I've walked around and I have seen enough demos that were just lackluster in interest to know that yours was very well received.
I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah?
People posting pictures that weren't from our group, so
That makes me really happy.
Yeah.
So it was a good turnout. So
Yeah, I was
awesome.
really excited. And
Yeah.
Yeah. It was awesome. You can bask.
I can
It's all
bask
good.
in the glow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious gravy. Yeah, so I don't have a favorite booth yet, honestly, but it's been nice to see what I've seen, because like the floor, they've opened like a whole nother wing of the convention center this year. And then they had did you guys go to you went to the fashion show?
I went to the fashion show. It was so cool.
How'd you
It was
like
so
it?
professionally done. Yeah. It was mostly yarnware,
Right.
like knitted garments and crochet, but it was beautiful. Like they had real fashion models, music.
I heard
lights
that
and
the
everything.
person in charge of the fashion show is an actual fashion show producer.
Yeah, like it was so professional.
Big. Well, and I've heard a lot of different, like what Cologne is versus what here is. I guess at Cologne they have fashion shows going all day.
Oh wow.
All day, because it's a thing.
Yeah.
And it's just do. And like some of these booths, like we have drape and rod and all that. They don't do that there. Like a cheap booth is drywall.
Yeah.
Like they have dedicated hard-walled 3,000 feet of and some of these have like actual kitchens because they have tables with charcuterie and all this other stuff. Like it's a whole experience.
Yeah, apparently I need to go to Germany.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We need to take the show on the road.
Yes.
Okay,
I think so.
I'm sure Oshemi is like cringing. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
But she's gonna raise her prices, so it's fine. It's all right, Sondrasa.
oh, yeah, but like if I raise
Do yourself
the
a
normal-
spreadsheet. How many patterns do I have to sell, and write
Exactly.
it down, and
That's your goal.
It shall be.
That's my goal. Yeah.
Go into
Can,
Germany.
can we like make the goal of like making a living first, and then we'll go from there? Like, it's expensive running a small
If your
business.
goals
It is.
don't scare you, they're not big enough. And I'm just repeating all the things that I have to tell myself at the moment,
You're
because
not
I too
wrong though.
am in that moment.
Like we work so hard though to get to like this level, and then like we feel like we achieved it, and then it's like, oh yeah, I've got to make new goals because I got to
Yeah.
it just like feels
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yeah, it's
sometimes.
never ending.
It is never ending.
That is I guess what we have to get used to. It's
Yeah,
not going
and
to stop. So.
I'll be honest, I'm not sad about it,
No.
but you get to a point and you're like, okay, I got there. Could I see that return on that investment of time? That'd be great. And then you have to move forward with the other, what feels like thankless and unpaid work, even though you know it won't be because everything's a cycle. But you're like,
well, and it's really easy to feel good about how we've gotten here and all this, because we're here in an element that like encourages us, and we're seeing and making connections. But then we go home, and I think that's another reason why I love the Quilt Designers Collective, because we still communicate and talk and hang out and still uplift each other. Because a lot of these people, I mean, a lot of us will go home and just feel like, okay, what now?
Alone.
I'm lonely.
Yeah.
I don't
Alone.
have
Yeah, they
people
have
to
they're in
talk
a little
to
bubble
and-
kind of
yeah.
thing. Yeah. Lots of people don't have a guild even. Like it's you need that connection as a quilter.
Well,
as
and
a
that's
sewist,
something
Yeah.
Kate,
right?
you and Kate were talking about you get to a certain level and you really can't be a part of a guild.
Well, and there's that, and I was going to say, I think as business owners, we have to have a business-centered outlet too.
Yes.
Because what I love about it is that we can each build our businesses and be completely unique with them, and we don't have to do anything the same way somebody else does.
Yeah.
Like I observe what people do to see, oh, that might work for me, and I
Yeah.
might implement that in my own, but I'm going to do my own thing. But at the same time, we want to be able to touch base, like I was able to touch base with you about what your thoughts on working, about being in a lookbook were,
Yeah.
like what
Yeah.
did you see from that, and we can compare kind of apples to apples.
Exactly.
And have a conversation with somebody that we know and trust in real life, so that
Yeah.
because people are not super forthcoming
Open
with
about
some
it.
information.
Yeah,
No.
we can give the good,
and,
bad,
and
ugly.
rightly
right?
so.
Well,
but
and
it's
like
nice to
our
be able
distributor
to.
situation is very
Exactly.
different because we were able to talk and I was able to share
Yeah.
my experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's not to say that we're bashing anybody or
No.
having. It's just like, what should I expect?
It's more transparency because
Yeah.
there's
We're
a lot of
educating
things
ourselves.
you're getting to this point and you have no idea what the norm is or
Yeah.
what you're doing, and especially if you don't have like contacts that are already established and
Uh-huh.
like have been
Yeah.
around the block. Like you have no idea, like what is the normal way that I do this, or how do I make these appointments, or how,
Or
like,
even
what should
who
I
to
expect?
contact.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, that's
Yeah.
been
Well,
really
and a lot
nice
of that
too.
is so hidden.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who are you supposed to contact? Well, I can't find their email anywhere. It's not listed anywhere. I have
Exactly.
to know somebody
Yeah.
in order to get that information.
Yeah.
And that can
Yeah.
be really kind of, like, just the transparency is nice.
Detrimental in the transparency. There was a person who did a podcast episode a couple of years ago, who was talking about like pricing for guild talks. And that was the first time I had heard anybody be upfront about what like newbies and mid-level and really
Established.
popular people were charging. And I was even able to tell a mutual friend of ours, I'm like, you need to up your price because you should be in this upper
Middle.
mid-level.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, no. And I was like, no, from
No,
today
seriously.
forward, everything you book is at
Yeah.
this price level. Because
But
that's where
that's-
you should be.
It's
Yeah.
so easy for us to feel like, well, we're not really at that level.
Yeah.
Like, am I really
Yeah,
at
but
that
somebody else might be able to look at us and say, no, you should be
Yeah.
charging.
Right,
They can
exactly.
see
And
it
we can give
objectively.
each other that feedback.
But
like,
now that we have the information, though, right? Because
Right.
we didn't used to. And other craft-related industries, I think, have a little bit more established, a little more transparency and information.
I don't
this
necessarily
not so
think that's
much.
always the case.
Not
right?
always, but individuals who we both
Yeah.
know have been like, oh, they came from a different side of the craft industry, and they're like, oh, it was a little bit more accepted to like get compensated for things versus we're going to pay you in exposure. And I'm like, that's nice, but the mortgage company doesn't
Oh my
accept
god,
that.
that right there makes me cringe as
Yeah.
an artist, and coming from that realm,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, it's infuriating, and
It
it's
is.
like no, because my time is also valuable, and nobody
Right.
would expect to, like, nobody would tolerate it going to a 9-to-5 job and being told at the end, oh,
Yep. Sorry.
well, we supplied you with a desk,
Yeah.
and
And
a
a
phone
computer,
and a computer, and
yeah. That
you
should
should
be
just be
good
happy
enough.
with it.
Yeah.
No, not so much. Like, you
Mhm.
wouldn't tolerate it, and so
Right.
we our products are of value. So
Yeah.
well, and the
just
same
interesting.
thing can be said for, especially when we're starting out and like we're working with brands and they send us free things, and we post and we do that, and because it's a mutual. For the most part, we hope it's a mutual thing where they're going to promote us. That's not always the case.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's fun to get free stuff, and it's fun to try
it's
new
always
things
fun to
and,
get free
and that kind of
stuff,
stuff. I guess, yeah.
But at the same time, like there's a site. What's the site called? Do you remember? I know we were talking about the other day. There's an actual site where you can plug in
Oh yeah.
what
Yeah,
your
it's a
Instagram
calculator.
feed is, like what your name is, all of your handles, and then it calculates for you how much you're actually worth
Yeah.
to be paid from these other people, because you're they're sponsoring you pretty much, because you're like advertising for them.
Yeah.
So it calculates that, and so like for someone like me with my reach, like I'm worth like about $300 for a sponsorship gig because of my calculate. Now my reach is a lot higher than that website calculates, because I have all that data from Meta and I put that in my media kits and stuff.
Yeah.
Like for my small community, I have last year was a really big reach year. You know what I mean? So that's something that, and I don't mind this. The companies I work with right now that I'm advertising their products, like Alysso, for example, like that's a great partnership for me. They're always very warm and welcoming. It's a great brand. Now there's some other brands that I work with that aren't that great.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're just being used and like.
Yeah, and you learn from that too, that, okay, I'm going to, ahead of the game, you kind of think, okay, you can do a little bit of research and find out how do they handle their ambassadors or affiliates or, people they collaborate with.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
We can ask around and find out more information.
Right. Well, and even sometimes that's hard to really find out whether or not a company has an ambassador program and stuff.
I don't know why they make that so hard. Because there are some where you're like, I would really love to help you with your product. But
furniture company that I was trying to work with last from market for their ambassador program, and they kind of like just blew me off and said, "Oh, well, we're retooling our ambassador program and all this other stuff." But then I also see on social media like all these other people who are their ambassadors, but their social media is like almost 40,000, where I am nowhere near that. So it's obvious that I don't fit their criteria, right? And it's kind of like,
it'd be nice if they would just say, "Hey, talk to me when you hit these numbers," and we'll be like, "Okay,
right.
fine."
So there's
I won't waste
actual
my time.
metrics, right?
Yeah. But I do think those metrics don't always give a good indication of reach.
Right.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I think sometimes your reach can be way further than your metrics say.
Well, and then the other thing is, like, for Innova, like, Oshemi and I had looked at being content creators for them.
Yeah.
But you have to buy a machine first, right? There's no, like...
Oh, they don't give you that option to lease it or anything?
No.
Okay.
Like, Bernina does that.
Yeah.
Like, you
yeah,
have
Bernina
that
leases
option.
it,
Right? So at least that's... Because Bernina machines can be really expensive. They're high quality, right? So I understand that. But, like... If you can't afford their product, they don't even want to talk to you, because obviously you're not their customer base, I guess. I don't know.
And when I talk to Innova at market, just because I have one and I love them, I was just, I was there for the free bags, I'm not going to lie. Because I have no problem. That was just, if I was going to buy one, that was going to be the one I got. And I will say this, I feel like, and this is going to sound terrible, I feel like they think that they don't really need any kind of ambassador program, and unfortunately they're kind of right. Like, they
wrong.
sell themselves. Like, there's just I never hear of people, and I'm sure that there are people, but we just never hear from them, who leave Innova to go to somebody else.
Right.
So but there's a whole crop of long arm companies that are in a slightly different category, because I feel like Innova and Gamble are really their only competitors.
They're their own, yeah.
And then there's this whole group
that is a step
that,
down, isn't it?
yeah, and for a different use. I would say that because I was working on one at a shop, that it's a great home machine, but if you're quilting as a business, it wasn't robust enough. Like, it just wasn't meant for the heavy level of use that was being asked of it. And I was like, okay, it doesn't mean it wasn't a good machine. It just wasn't something that I would say, if you're going to open a business, go buy that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Great for casual use. You want to quilt for your friends, kind of thing. But when I talked to them too, because I did ask about an ambassador, they're like, oh, we're kind of playing around with it. So I'm not sure they actually have one.
Yeah.
Which is probably also the reason why they told you, well, you have to buy a machine, because they don't actually have one.
Right.
Okay.
They don't need one, like
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah, I don't know that they do. I want to circle back for a second, because I thought something that you said last week, I think, Sondrasa, was so very important, because as business owners, Sondrasa markets herself as a content creator.
I do.
And there is such a massive difference when we're talking about reach and whatnot. I'm not a content creator first. I'm a pattern designer
Yeah,
first. And so
Right.
for me, approaching any kind of business where they want a content creator primarily, I'm like, we're going to have a challenge because like I'd love to work with certain companies whose products I use and wherever it makes sense for me to do
Right.
that, but I want to make sure that you're not looking at a reach because that's not where my focus is.
Yeah.
My
Right.
focus is on the designs and bringing things to makers that they can enjoy making and you know, be as adventurous as they want as far as colors and fabrics and whatnot, but also here let me showcase beautiful fabrics for you
Right.
where it makes sense. But it's just kind of an interesting thing that I'm not sure really is ever addressed within the industry. Because again, it's a difference. It's just we have our very unique businesses,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
you know I think that there should be some thought given to that on the part of the brands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah. They're expecting a content creator maybe.
exactly, and
we don't know that. in a
well,
way.
and we don't know that, and I can almost say that I did know that because when you look at society right now, influencer marketing is huge.
Mhm.
But that's not what we're all like. We don't all have to be influencer
No.
marketing. Like I can genuinely put stuff in front of my audience, and it can be small. But I don't want to just put products in front of them.
Yeah.
I want to put products in front of them that I use that make sense.
Yeah.
Right.
And so for me, my focus is not let me put this brand in front of you 89 times this week. It's just like
Well, and I think that
As a-
kind of
as a
works
matter of
against me
business.
sometimes because I'm the same way. Because that one company I talked about, they were all for making me an affiliate
oh yeah.
and doing that and getting product in front of my audience and stuff. But as soon as it's like, okay, well, I don't support anything that I don't own or
Yeah.
use or love.
Yep.
So, like, do you have a program where I can, like, have some of your furniture to showcase it
Yep.
and that kind and that's when the break stopped, right?
Mhm.
But it's like, I'm not going to support something that I don't absolutely
No.
love.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
And when it makes sense, because I did just talk to a brand who I would love to work with, and I pointedly said where it makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
because I will not use the tools
Yeah.
in certain instances because there's a faster and easier way to do it. Um, for me, so
Right.
I can recognize I'm going to toss my mom in there, so she's got some accessibility issues that she is working through, so she may benefit from additional tools.
Right.
Whereas for me, I'm like, no, there is a much faster, easier thing to do here, but let's partner.
Because
Where it's
I know
really
where it
logical.
relates. Yeah.
Yeah,
where
and
you
where
will
I
actually
want to
use it.
save
Yeah.
somebody time because our time is valuable,
Yeah.
and I recognize as a quilter, I don't want to be working on a project for the next 6 years. Like,
We're not going to talk about what's in my whips pile.
but we don't have to, right? We
No.
all have them, and you know, sometimes they have to be put in timeout because they're behaving badly, and
Yeah.
fuck
Yeah.
you.
And you
Yeah.
just don't
Yeah,
want to
you
look
need
at
that.
it.
And
Yeah.
we don't
You
want to
need
look
that
at it,
break
and,
from
and
it.
we don't need that negativity in
Yeah.
our life. So you go off into the corner, and
Yeah.
Maybe
screw
I'll
you.
look at you again.
Maybe,
Yeah.
and maybe not, and maybe I'll donate you to somebody who
Yeah,
will like you because
exactly.
I am done with you.
Or
like,
you'll
we're
become
gonna break
stuffing
up.
for a pillow.
Yeah.
It could be that too. You know, it could be really anything. But as we go through that, like I don't want to have somebody frustrated and struggling because it's something that I'm like, oh, and to be fair, I have a pattern that is out now that I have a quilt client who she's like, I said, there's 1,300 triangles in there, and she goes, honey, I'm retired. And I went, okay, Trish, you do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I love you dearly,
Yeah.
but I don't have time
Well,
for that.
that's
No.
why people give me crap sometimes for the fact that I do a lot of hand sewing.
I love
Oh,
it.
hand sewing.
I love it. Well, because it's not fast and like they
Yeah.
have other things they want to do, and it's like, but
if you
this
enjoy
isn't
it.
the only project I'm working on, and I love it.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah.
If you do English paper piecing in the car while you're waiting to go work your part-time shift at what was formerly known as the Pepsi Center, you know how fast you can finish a grandma's flower garden quilt?
Or a
months.
37-hour drive from
Yep.
Yeah.
You can finish
Chicago
stuff real
to
fast then.
Montana. Yeah, I got a lot done.
You can get stuff done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
true.
Yeah.
But let's face it, there's a lot of instances in which it is about the journey. So it's like I do enjoy
That
hand
is a
sewing
very
for
good point. Yeah.
for what I, for certain times. But yeah, it depends. I mean, yeah. So
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah.
Well, we're almost out of time, so I want to kind of just like wrap things up, and I'm gonna ask each of you. You're both beautiful quilt designers. What is your number one favorite pattern that you've put out into the world?
Okay, for me, it would be my birds of a feather. It's called, and it's
That's the one part of the new
it was
kit
part
that's
of that
out. Yeah.
Curves Jubilee pattern bundle. But that was probably my favorite one to design, and I love the colors of it. And I will definitely make that one again for myself because I've already made one, but I sold it. So
Wow. Well,
so I'll make another one for myself. But yeah, that
Yeah,
was my
maybe
favorite
make
one.
a new one in like.
Yeah,
There's plenty of fabric.
there's lots
right?
of lines
Yeah.
here that
Mhm.
I've been taking a look at that would
Yeah.
look really good. So
What about you, Amanda?
it depends because again, I have split personalities with regards to my pattern designs.
Yeah.
So I will say that with the more complicated, more interesting, artistic sort of color play, whatever, probably the Illusion, which is out now. The fabric line, though, doesn't ship till September.
Oh my gosh.
So if you want the exact fabric line, you have to wait, unfortunately. But hands down, my favorite one that's a fast quilt to make, an easy quilt to make,
Yeah.
is the first one I ever designed, and it's called Underwater Basket Weaving, and because you can crank out the throw in an afternoon. Like it is
I love
Yeah,
those.
wicked fast, and it's fun to piece.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
that's awesome.
And where can our listeners find you guys? Like,
I'm online, www.gingerberryquilts.ca. I'm also on Etsy, and email info
And
at
Instagram.
Gingerberry, and Instagram, and Facebook, and
Gingerberry
and
Quilts.
Pinterest, Gingerberry
Yes.
Quilts everywhere.
Google it. You'll find it.
Yeah.
And Amanda, where can we find you?
Fastest way is quiltatlist.com. There's a link to the shop, which is, long story short, umbrella company, ALeeB Creative, but Quilt at List will get you there. And then on Instagram, both of those exist. My
ALeeB
social
Creative,
media sucks. But I'm also on Pinterest and Facebook as well, though I usually just lurk on Facebook.
Yeah.
So if you see it on Instagram, it probably got posted to Facebook too, but I don't
I love that
generally
they
go
allow
there.
us to do that because
Yeah.
I'm a lazy content creator.
Yeah, it's
The
nice to have
laziest
something that
over
posts
here.
to the most places as possible.
Yes.
Right? Oh my goodness. What is going on, camera? Well, I guess that's the camera's way of saying we're done because it just
Apparently.
shifted on us. Like, now you're getting a beautiful shot of the back of my hair. I hope you guys like it. But anyway,
Well, it is pretty.
It is.
It is. Okay, it better
is
be pretty
beautiful.
for what I paid for it.
Yes,
like,
it better.
For fuck's sake. But yeah, that'll wrap it up today, guys. If you enjoyed the stream, make sure to hit the follow. You can find me at Sondrasa Sews on Instagram. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to have Lyric from the Academy for Virtual Teaching. And I'm going to have Susan from the Global Quilt Connection. They're actually getting ready to launch a new platform. Yeah, so that'll be fun. They're going to get to talk about that. That felt like auto tracking. Okay, Oshemi. Thank you all. I'll check it later. Anyway, thank you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day. I love you. Bye, guys.